It's one of the most controversial transport plans in a decade. The government's proposed high-speed rail link through the Chiltern Hills has been attracting more opposition today. The line could run from London Euston to Lichfield. Around 200 people have attended a summit in Aylesbury calling for the route to be looked at again. Amy Lewis has been following developments.
There is huge opposition here to the government's plans. Councillors, MPs and campaigners have all come together to voice their opposition. They claim it will cost every single UK household £1,000 to pay for the high-speed railway link, and they say the economic and environmental benefits simply don't add up.
We have so much anger, so much passion. I think the feel you've had from the meeting today and local and public meetings I've attended, people feel so strongly about it. We in Buckinghamshire and along the route are a really well-versed, intelligent lot, and the more we go into this, the more it makes us so angry that such a scheme is so ill-conceived and so wrong.
Phase 1 of the high-speed railway link runs from London to Birmingham. Parts of Buckinghamshire and North East Oxfordshire would be affected. That includes villages like Finmit, Mixbury and Fringford. We've already seen protests from angry residents, but is this just so-called NIMBYism, people not wanting it in their area?
No, it isn't. I think everyone must take into account that the cost of it is outrageous. And that means there's not going to be money available for other transport projects.
In actual fact, it doesn't affect my back garden, but it does affect me as a resident, and not just of Buckinghamshire, in the country.
There is no good reason for it. The damage and devastation that will result is for no good purpose.
Well, in response to the opposition here, the Department of Transport has said that the high-speed railway link will bring £44 billion worth of benefits. It will also cut journey times and increase passenger numbers. You can have your say. The public consultation runs until the end of July.
Let's talk to Hugh Yeager from the Thames Valley branch of Railfuture, an organisation campaigning for better rail services for passengers and freight. So what do you make of the planned route?
Good evening. We definitely need a new north-south mainline railway, but equally definitely HS2 Limited and the government has chosen the wrong route and also the wrong speed. They're desperate to go via Old Oak Common in West London to connect with trains to Heathrow, even though they predict that only about 1.4% of HS2 passengers will want a connection to Heathrow. That will double the amount of tunnel and add at least £1 billion to the cost of construction. And the other mistake is to go at 400 kilometres per hour, which would hugely add to the cost of construction and hugely add to the amount of energy per mile that the trains use, both of which would push the fares through the roof.
So what about other routes? Are other routes viable?
Other routes are viable, but HS2 Limited dismissed them rather glibly without looking at them properly, mainly because that's what they were asked to do by a Department for Transport that was desperate for the line to go via Old Oak Common for, as I've explained, no good reason.
So have you put forward other options to the government?
We have said that there should be a professional, independent review of the route. HS2 Limited contains too many vested interests from certain construction companies who for some reason want to go via that route. An independent review would look at, would it be cheaper to follow the M1 corridor where you would use half as much tunnel and it would cost at least £1 billion less? Would it be cheaper to build the line to a lower engineering specification so that if you went at only 300 kilometres an hour instead of 400 kilometres an hour, it would cost less to build, it would cost less to run per mile, and therefore fares would be more accessible for the people we want to attract off the motorway and onto the trains.
And what about rail travel generally? Because what HS2 does bring up is arguments around economic benefits to parts of the UK. But I suppose the argument could be that by linking towns and villages in this area to the high-speed links into London and Birmingham...
HS2 Limited proposes to funnel £23 billion into a project between London and Birmingham with virtually no intermediate stations. Whereas we need benefits throughout the country. HS2 would never reach the west of England or South Wales. We need smaller investment. In Oxford, we've had passengers increase by 40% in 5 years, and yet the government will not cough up for a bigger Oxford rail station. Grove and Wantage want their railway station reopened. Witney and Carterton would quite like to have a tram link to Oxford. All of these things could be done much more quickly than HS2, at much less money, decarbonising more journeys in less time.
Hugh Yeager, thank you.
Thank you very much.